Damn, am I enjoying Aldnoah.Zero or what? But man, does it have some problems. Like, why the hell does Inoho not show any emotion at all? And why was he so stupid during episode 7? Ugh, made me so angry. So why is he like that? The creators gave him no reason to act like that. Come to think of it, Kanade from Angel Beats doesn't have a reason why she's emotionless either. Let's look for some information. And where's a decent place to start off? Well, why not other anime? Okay, so Yuki Nagato from The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya is an android, and she was programmed not to have emotions. The other androids that show only one emotion show the only emotion that they were programmed with. Kinda like the Misaka clones from a certain scientific railgun, but the Misaka clones are mass produced to die, so minute details like emotions are useless for them. But I don't want to spoil anything, but the robots start showing emotions because learning, blah 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 and whatnot. But at least the writers of the story gave these characters a reason and a backstory. So we didn't learn much here besides that Kaneda and Inoho are clearly not robots. In the Hentai Prince and the Stony Cat, Tsukiko to this chick, she wishes not to show her emotion so easily. So the wish monkey paws on her and she is unable to show any emotion at all. You know, this kind of reminds me of Koishi Komime. Wow, I can't read. This chick from Toho. Koishi poked out her third eye because she didn't want people to hate or fear her species. Yada yada yada, plot points. But by doing so, she also got rid of her emotions. And by third eye, I mean her ability to read minds. I think this is as far as anime is going to tell us and help us out on our search. So let's look for some information someplace else. So the brain has four lobes: the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the occipital lobe, and the temporal lobe. And each lobe is in charge of different things. Now, from my research, I can't get an 100% accurate information because everywhere I'm flooded with different information. But my research has slimmed it down to the frontal lobe is in control of personality, among other things, while the temporal lobe is in charge of emotion, among other things. And the limbic system is also in charge of emotion, again, among other things. So let's break each of them down. Okay, so the temporal lobe is in charge of visual memories, language comprehension, and emotion association. The temporal lobe is involved in auditory processing, and so it is what makes sound becomes language through magic. Also, visual processing. So, like if you see a face, you will remember that face. So, pretty much, if you see details, you'll remember the details. Okay, so this is what we want. The temporal lobe houses the hippocampus, which is part of the limbic system. The hippocampus is also in charge of making new memories. So if the temporal lobe happens to get damaged, then if you ever seen 1 Week Friends, it can be like that. But it's more like 50 First Dates if anyone watches movies. Also, I've only watched 3 episodes of 1 Week Friends, so please don't spoil. Okay, so let's move on to the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is in charge of motor functions, planning, reasoning, judgment, impulse control, and memory. It is also in charge of personality since, lobotomy was a thing back then and it did change people. So now you might be thinking, what could happen if you had an injury in the frontal lobe? Well, many things could happen actually. The case study of Phineas Gage, a man whose whole left frontal lobe was destroyed by a large iron rod, seemed to become lazy and rude. Some people in case studies became huge risk takers and gamblers, and their sense of should they or should they not was almost non existent. So maybe, just maybe, is it possible that Inoho's frontal lobe is damaged via brain injury and his sense of judgment is bad? But that still doesn't explain why Kanade or Inoho show no emotion at all. Okay, So there are these things called personality disorders. I know what some of you might say. How can a personality be a disorder? And to that I say to you, bipolar personality disorder. Well, anyway, this personality disorder specifically is called alexithymia, which is difficulty identifying different types of feelings, limited understanding of what causes feelings, detached connections to others and or difficulty expressing feelings. So what's the cause of this, you may ask? Well, it's usually a personality that is created when someone is a baby, and it's usually because the parents of said child are not all goo goo gaga. But no, seriously, it's because the parents never showed emotion to the baby, which the child would pick up on and copy because that's the only thing it knows. But recently, there's been a theory that alexithymia can be caused by brain damage. Huh. Well, I guess Inaho and Kanade either never got enough love as a child or got some lobotomy done. In Inaho's case, it would make sense since he was born during a war and his parents are never there, so he would not know the meanings of emotions. So, in conclusion, Aldnoah.Zero's characters are either brilliantly and lazily done, or it doesn't know what it's doing. Either way, I'm enjoying it, but this is all up for debate. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.